Hello everyone! From here we will start a talk session of Ascension 2022, an event to disseminate the startup city Fukuoka domestically and internationally through a dialogue between a globally active entrepreneur and Fukuoka Mayor Soichiro Takashima. Today we welcome Mr. Hironao Kunimitsu, CEO of Thirdverse and CEO of Financie, as a guest, and we will ask him about the future society that Metaverse and Web3 will bring. I apologize for the delay. My name is Lu, and I will be your MC today. Thank you very much. And on the stage, Mr. Kunimitsu and Mayor Takashima. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much. There are a lot of people here today, but first off, would you mind introducing yourself and tell us about your background and business? Yes, nice to meet you all. I'm Kunimitsu. I used to run a mobile game company called Gumi. I retired from there last year, and now I'm doing 3 things. One is called Thirdverse, which is a company that makes VR games and blockchain games on the Metaverse. And the other is a new service called Financie, a new form of Web3 crowdfunding. I also run a fund in Silicon Valley. I'm pleased to meet you today. And you? Had you two met before? Well, Mr. Kunimitsu is already a very famous person. Well, we realize that many people here are waiting for the HKT members, right? Thank you for your patience. Yes, thank you. But while you're waiting and listening, we want you to have a good time. So I'm curious to know if you've heard Mr. Kunimitsu's name, or if you've heard the words Web3 or Metaverse. Maybe you have, but I think most people don't know about them. So today, I'd like for everyone to take this time to listen and learn and be like, oh, that's what it's about, and feel like they've been updated. You've raised the bar quite high. No. He's the most knowledgeable person in Japan. And we were both born in 1974. Yes, we graduated the same year. I've been doing study sessions with him for a long time, so I'm very happy to have him as a guest today. Thank you so much. Well, I'm learning little by little, but I don't know much about it. For everyone who's here today, and for everyone who's watching the live stream, I think we need people who can admit that they have no knowledge without being embarrassed. Yes, that's right. That's why I've invited 2 guests who may say, I don't know anything about the Metaverse, or I don't know what Web3 is. Please introduce them to us. Mayor Takashima, thank you. We would like to invite our special guests to join us on stage. HKT48's Aki Toyonaga and Hana Matsuoka. Please welcome them with a round of applause. Isn't it strange? The amount of applause is different. I'm sure everyone is very happy. May I ask you to introduce yourselves? Hi, my name is Aki Toyonaga of HKT48. Thank you for your time today. Yes, I'm Hana Matsuoka from HKT48. Thank you. Please have a seat. Now then, I would like to ask you about the Metaverse. First of all, what kind of image do you have of the Metaverse, Mayor Takashima? Metaverse, what kind of image? Let's see, Metaverse. So I put on my VR goggles. I almost forgot we were live streaming. I have an image of wearing goggles to play games and communicate. Do the 2 of you know? I didn't understand it at all, and when I first heard the word, I thought it might be some kind of character. Maybe some kind of new snack? Have you ever worn VR goggles? I have. We are doing a VR broadcast for our theater performances. So that's when I figured out what it was. I see, I see. What about you, Aki? I didn't know the word, but when I read Mr. Kunimitsu's book, it was similar to the story of the movie Summer Wars. I was like, oh, that's what it is. Wow, Aki, you read Mr. Kunimitsu's book? Yes, I did. Thank you. That's amazing, really. And recently you're on a program about technology, aren't you? Yes, I'm in a part of the program where we talk and learn about technology. So you know a lot, right? No, the show just started. So a super beginner, a bit of an intermediate. I've only scratched the surface. Just scratch the surface. Is it okay to use the examples that these two have given so far, Mr. Kunimitsu? Well, in fact, when you go to the virtual reality world using the metaverse, especially VR, you can actually see worlds like Sword Art Online, or Summer Wars, or Bell. I think we are getting close to the point where it can be realized in reality. First of all, we're making a lot of progress in the game we are creating now. So let's watch one of the videos. Yes. It's easier to understand if we see the image. Let's watch. Everyone, please turn your attention to the screen. This is a game that's scheduled to come out around next February. It hasn't come out yet. Right. Wearing VR goggles like this is a multiplayer shooter game like Apex Legend or Valorant. 10 versus 10 players or 5 versus 5 players. So if you have meta goggles, you can have team battles with your friends. Of course, no matter where you are in the world, you can fight like this. And if foreigners are playing, they look cool. Actually climbing a wall freely like this, or actually creating original moves like this on your own. For example, there were shooting games like this before, right? I think everyone was playing these types of games, but what's the difference between playing a game in the metaverse with the goggles on? In fact, I feel that esports are particularly popular, but in the end, existing esports are just clicking with a mouse while looking at a 2D screen. And when you enter the metaverse, you can see yourself. I think a big difference is that you feel like you're really fighting from a first-person perspective. So instead of using just the mouse and controller hands, it becomes more immersive because of the movements of the whole body, such as turning left and right. That's true. This is why, in fact, Metaverse and AR are used quite a bit by the military, and especially by the US military. Wow. In fact, if you do this, you will become stronger even if you go into the actual battlefield. Furthermore, it is especially used in sports, such as baseball and American football. For example, you have a match with Shohei Ohtani tomorrow, and if you suddenly face him, it would be hard to hit his pitch, right? But if you use a VR headset endlessly the day before and play against Mr. Ohtani 100 times and 200 times, you won't be surprised at all when he actually pitches the ball. In the future, it seems that it can be used in various ways through simulations, such as for various vocational training, like piloting an airplane and such. That's why it is so important to be able to do that, and the world of entertainment is the same. Mayor, you mentioned simulations, and they can be used in so many ways, like to practice giving a presentation in front of many people wearing VR. Also, there are a lot of people who study English these days. But when a foreigner suddenly comes up and talks to you in English, you get a little nervous, right? For some people, studying online isn't satisfying because there's a distance. With VR, it feels like you're really there. And when you actually have a chance to talk with someone, you're used to it and don't feel nervous. So it seems that the range of use is quite wide. Let's see, Hana is a beginner, but are you okay? Yes, I am. Are you following along? Yes, I am. I hope everyone understands. It's probably fine. It's easy to imagine. Do you have any questions? Our fans are always watching us, so will they be able to use VR to dance with us? As if they are standing on the stage, and if they look around, the members are surrounding them? Certainly, if there is a live in the metaverse in the future, you'll be able to see it from the front row, right? In fact, metaverse and virtual live performances have become quite popular. And overseas, artists like Justin Bieber and Travis Scott have had live performances on VR. Moreover, since you can decide your own field of view, many fans want to focus on one person in a large idol group, so you can focus on them all the time. Don't cut it in editing. I want to see this one person all the time. It will be a great breakthrough for those people. And what's interesting is that VR actually has a lot of simulation games that I mentioned earlier. And the most popular games are gun shooting, RPGs like Dragon Quest, Monster Hunter, and so on. You can fight on your own. It's like being in a world you've longed for. And now there are VR games that were popular a while ago, where you become a gorilla and move around in the forest, climbing cliffs and climbing ivy. That's not an experience we can have every day, right? Well, that's right. I've never wanted to be a gorilla. By the way, Mr. Kunimitsu, the most knowledgeable person in Japan, is there anything you're paying attention to that may expand in this field? In terms of games, the worlds that everyone has always dreamed of, such as shooting games, RPGs, Monster Hunter, and the world of Minecraft, where you create your own world, are quite large. And community services are also important. It's really growing, and even in Japan, VR chat is like the VR version of Ameba Pig. You can bring your favorite avatar and enter a room and become that person. Yes, if a 3D model is prepared, then the members can ask fans to use their avatar and pretend to be them. That would be strange. It means that you could experience being who you want to be if you were to come back as someone else. But what's interesting about this VR chat is that it's quite popular in Japan right now, and over 90% of the avatars in the VR chat are beautiful girls. Wow. 95% of those avatars are middle-aged men. It's hard to comment, isn't it? However, what is amazing is that when they first become a virtual girl, the actions are more like an old man. However, as time goes by, the gestures become cute. The synchro rate gradually increases. They can't tell if it's them or what after synchronizing. When I asked a middle-aged friend of mine why he had a cute avatar, he told me that if he has a beautiful girl avatar, people around him treat him as a beautiful girl. So he should try to be even cuter. Once that happens, your gestures and voices while looking in the mirror will become cuter and cuter. Your middle-aged friend has become a beautiful girl, right? What kind of middle-aged guy is this? Shall we prepare an avatar for you, Mayor? Of a beautiful girl? No. A beautiful girl avatar for me? We can make a pledge. Changing the subject, this is a serious story. I think politicians should be VTubers. Why? First, there is no scandal. In a nutshell, there's such a split between those who like and dislike politics. Some say they don't want to cooperate because so-and-so is involved. If these reasons disappear, what's left are debates and better discussions between people. What's more, middle-aged men don't listen to someone when they use a middle-aged man's avatar. If you use a regular avatar to talk, people may not listen to you, but if you're the mayor with a beautiful girl avatar, more people might listen. Those who wouldn't listen might. Even if the policy is a bit strict, they might think, well, it's okay because it's cute. Sure. I wonder. I do have prejudices based on appearances. What's even better are virtual live shows for people overseas, and many artists have started doing it. For example, the most famous live performances of Travis Scott and Justin Bieber were watched by 20 million people at the same time. Wow! In the end, the good thing about VR concerts is that they don't have to travel the world. It seems fun to go around the world in the beginning as they become famous. They can go to Paris or New York, but if it goes on year after year, they get so tired. When you get to that level, it's like you want to arrive somewhere in an instant. But it seems like it gets tougher as it goes on and on. If it's a virtual concert, you can stream from your own LA house. 20 million. Yes. That many people won't fit in a concert dome. It can only be realized in VR streaming. So there are times that I could go directly to listen to the mayor's speech. But if the beautiful mayor avatar is used, I can stream it from home. I think it's important to go to different places and talk. But if you use avatars, you can have more people listen directly while staying in one place. Wearing VR makes you feel like you're really there. Unlike 2D, you can even shake hands. In the Meta, what is it, the thing that you wear? Quest. Yes, I have a Quest, but what is that? Not a desk room. A workroom. We have occasional meetings in the workroom. There's a group of people who have conferences or engineers in Fukuoka, and they gather every Wednesday. Sometimes I join in too. At first, I was wondering why they would wear it for a Zoom meeting, but since everyone's gazes, nods, and hand movements are all recreated, it makes me feel like I'm really talking to everyone in the same location. I don't feel like I'm there when it's a Zoom meeting or something like it. It's reflected there, but when you wear it and immerse yourself in it, you feel like you're there. Have you figured out the metaverse? Yes, we have. Okay, in one word, what is the metaverse? Well, VR, or what's it called? It's difficult to explain simply. Please give me the correct answer. Metaverse is a world where you can try something more real in the virtual world than what you have seen in 2D. Wonderful answer. Wow, amazing.
すごい。じゃあ、
Well, unlike with other creators events, I've never felt a sense of unity with all of you who were just waiting to see HKT48. I feel we're completely united. The power of these two is huge. Okay, I've gotten a handle on the metaverse. Next, Web3. Web3, please. This is the next issue. Well then, a service that we are running called Financie deals with Web3. Here in Fukuoka, Avispa has used tokens for the sports team. And one of the big things about this Web3 is that it creates a new relationship with fans. Wait a minute. Tokens. The airplanes are passing over this area today, so it's a little hard to hear. So you said tokens, didn't you? You said it in passing, but you don't know what a token is, do you? Some kind of character? Well, we have another video for you to watch. What is Financie? We use blockchain technology to run token-based crowdfunding. Our system lets you, as supporters, support sports teams and creators. By purchasing project tokens from sports teams and creators, supporters can support projects directly and on an ongoing basis. They can receive special benefits from owners, can communicate with other token holders on an exclusive thread, and be part of the decision-making for the project by voting. The supporters, in essence, get to experience the growth of the project together with the owners. Supporters can buy and sell their tokens at any time. As the needs of the supporters change, the value of the token changes. So getting in early as a supporter becomes an incentive. Building on the power of tokens to fuel the passion of fans, to back the creation of the creator economy. New crowdfunding for Web3. Financie. I see. Until now, we've been using crowdfunding to support people who want to do something by giving money to support them. If you donate 5,000 yen, we'll give you a sticker as a present. Or if you donate 10,000 yen, you'll get an admission ticket for the next event. What is different about this Web3 crowdfunding that you're talking about? The biggest thing is that until now, products were attached in order to support them. Instead of that, you will receive this token, which can be bought and sold through pseudo-circulation, so its value will rise as its popularity rises. So it's like a membership. So you get one membership, and not only do you keep it, but you can sell it to other people. Also, if everyone wants it and the value goes up, when the member of the committee wants to sell it, it can be sold at a higher price. Exactly. I think there have been various things such as YouTube, TikTok, crowdfunding, and tipping systems. But up until now, there has been no monetary benefit to the fans who have supported them. However, if tokens come out using this Web3, when the people being supported become very popular, the fans who support them will also benefit. People say it will create a new relationship between fans and creators. Do you do live streaming? Yes, we've been given opportunities like at showrooms. So when you're live streaming, there's a tipping system, and the only incentive for the person who sent the tip was for you all to remember their name or to call out their name. But from now on, that token will be used. Since the fan will have this token, it will benefit them, and your longtime fans can continue to accumulate these while supporting you. Well, there are quite a few examples of creators and celebrities giving out their own tokens. And one of the most famous examples is the soccer player Messi. When Messi joined a team called Paris Saint-Germain, he received part of his salary in Saint-Germain tokens. After that, thanks to Messi joining the team, when Saint-Germain won, the value of the tokens increased, and he also gained more and worked harder. That's why people who have supported someone from the beginning want to not only continue to show support, but also the value of their own tokens go up, and it's a win-win for both. Up until now, people who supported people on the internet were basically just supporters, and influencers who distributed were just influencers. With this, both sides will grow together as popularity is gained. It really is a win-win for everyone.
はなちゃんここまでのとこはどう？
いいです。
いいです。あ、いいですか。
いい感じです。
ありがとうございます。
説明できるかはいい
い感じだそうです。わからない言葉とかなかった。
そうですね。大丈夫です。まだ大丈夫です。
大丈夫。はい。OK です。
I think it would be easier to understand with a concrete example. Yes, please. Financie, especially now with sports teams. In Fukuoka, for example, Avispa used tokens. Now there are about 80 sports teams, but regarding something new, we're trying to make use of tokens and Web3 in the entertainment industry. We're doing a project called Super Sapiens, with director Tsumi of Trick and Spec, director Motohiro of Odoru Daisousasen, and director Sato of Strawberry Night. Basically, related companies such as TV stations, movie distribution companies, video companies, music distribution companies, and Dentsu paid money to make movies. If and when the movie was hugely successful, the money was divided only among the people who paid for it. But even if avid fans of these movies spread the word about how great they are, there was no benefit for them in terms of money. On the other hand, in this project, when we make a new IP, we ask the fans to give us money directly so that we can work together to create the content. If the work that I was making became very famous all over the world, it would naturally benefit the people who supported it. That's how it would be, a togetherness with the fans. Of course, it's not just about giving money, but I think there will be a lot of fans creating something, such as fan art and secondary creations. And with the fans' creations and support, they would be able to get tokens. So when it comes to the goal of this Super Sapiens project, one of the big things is to create an IP that will be a big hit all over the world, starting from Japan, with a sense of a reasonable Squid Game in the end. It's a thought of wanting to create something like that together with the fans. For example, if everyone in HKT48 wants to create some kind of content, what kind of things could you do with this kind of NFT? You could do so many things. We want to know. With pop idols, they need to have a shared goal. In the case of Super Sapiens, there is a goal to create an amazing IP like Marvel in the future, such as surpassing Squid Game, and people who share that goal can get together and get excited together. For example, you may have done a lot of Budokan shows, but I think the fans could set goals together with you to realize a 5-dome tour or a worldwide tour, and you could all work together to make it happen. Where do you want to perform? PayPay Dome. At PayPay Dome, I see. I would like to. Aki, what about you? We usually do our theater performances at Izo Fukuoka, which is next to the PayPay Dome. So I think everyone thinks it would be a dream come true to be able to perform at the Dome. What's interesting about this is that with crowdfunding in the past, if you wanted to do a project at PayPay Dome,
はい
you asked people for financial support. Now they may be asked to issue a token or something like that. So other people are not just offering money, they are also asking, for example, for people to make flyers or something like that. For example, if you're good at making websites, we can make them for you. Or if you're good at creating secondary works, we can do that. Or if you create game-like characters or avatars, as mentioned before, and advertise them in VR, you can get tokens for these activities. If we can make the dreams come true, then naturally the number of fans will increase, and as a result, everyone will benefit. It's really like a cooperative effort, isn't it?
この画面の中に
On the screen, it says DAO, DAO, right? What is DAO?
何ですかね
It is said to be a new form of organization that replaces the joint stock company. And the translation is decentralized autonomous organization. It sounds like a great
今
spell.
花ちゃん分かった
ちょっと全然もう
I can't comprehend it.
花ちゃんは
Hana doesn't
ちょっ
understand.
と
Decentralized autonomous organization.
やらしいわやらしいわざと分からんように
そういうなんか自立分散型組織って感じなんですけど、
In a stock company, shares are issued to raise money to create a business.
株式会社の場合だと株式を
And in the case of DAOs,
集めて事業を作っていく。
tokens are issued instead.
代わりにトークンを発行してで作っていく。
In the case of DAOs, tokens are issued to create a business.
今世界中で使われ始めてるかっていう
And this is the major difference.
例えば今までの株式会社で、特に有名なので
For example, YouTube is a company owned by Google.
でただ YouTube っていうのは Google
The value of YouTube
持ってる会社なんです
is about 20 trillion
会
yen.
社の価値っていうのはだいたい20兆円くらい。で
But who received the 20 trillion yen that YouTube spent on its great success?
と最初に YouTube を作った人
Google, who bought it, is taking all of the money.
Google がこの20兆円をすべてがめてるんですね。
And the people who own the shares of YouTube,
見てるわけじゃないですよ
because it is a joint stock company.
なんで株を持ってるこのさっきの人たちが
そらそうだ
でそれに対してただ
However, if you think about it calmly,
が成功
the success of YouTube is not only due to their success, but also to the nameless creators who continued to post videos from the time when it was not yet popular,
でその頃
people who continued to watch videos from that time,
記事にした人
people who promoted it to their friends, and people who wrote articles about it, all of which contributed to its success.
株を持ってないし
But they may not have earned a penny. What would happen if there were a Web3 like YouTube, where you get YouTube tokens for posting videos, you get tokens for watching videos, you get tokens for telling your friends? Everyone works hard.
でみんなで頑張って
The dream of YouTube is the democratization of video to replace TV.
作れて誰でも見れるみたいな
If the dream that anyone can make it and anyone can see it comes true,
最終的に
and if it eventually becomes very popular, the 20 trillion yen will not be taken by a small percentage of the shareholders, but will go to everyone who contributed to the project.
ちょっとずつ入るみたいな
In the case of a stock company,
株式会社
all the profits go to those who hold a portion of the shares.
すべてのこの利益っていうのがいくような仕組み
DAO, on the other hand, is a token that is distributed to the many people who contributed to the project.
渡るようにして
なんかまだ
I
ねなんか
kind of
わかるような
understand, but can't say I understand completely yet. Hana, explain to me what it is when you say
と
DAO.
いえばどういうことかちょっと今分かってる理解で言ってみて
説明はやっぱりあちらの
Maybe she can explain it?
ひどいなすごいひどい
あきちゃんダオって
Okay, what is DAO?
っていうのは
A DAO is an organization or a mechanism that allows individuals to contribute in the form of tokens and also provides benefits to those who contribute. Whereas until now, only company units and those who have knowledge about them were able to contribute in the form of shares.
仕組みになっていくっていう感じのことですか？
かなり近い。
Pretty close. No, seriously. Please say it's perfect.
完璧って言ってよ。いやいや、こんだけ分かってたら。
いや完璧。
It's perfect.
その完璧ちょっと心苦しい。
昨日まで
Almost painfully perfect. I was speaking in an IT event yesterday.
相手にいやいや
いやでもね、そのレベルまで食いついてくださって
なんか
嬉しい。
若手の
It's like talking to a young entrepreneur.
すごい
アイドルだから。
No, she's a pop idol.
まあでもそのくらいこうほぼ完璧な。
I think that's about as perfect an answer as you can
ち
get.
ょっと真面目になっちゃうんで
So I'm going to get a little serious here, but this startup Fukuoka is all about boosting startups, isn't it?
こうっていうのが多分
The main difference
でこのスタートアップ
between a startup and a conventional company is that employees can own stock options.
従業員も持てる。これがすごく大きな違いで。
However, in a startup company, the employees can also own
た
stock.
だスタートアップっていうのは株式っていうのを従業員働いているメンバーも持てる。
The big difference between a startup and a conventional company is that if everyone works hard and the company goes public, the employees who own stock in the startup will also be rewarded with a big success.
なんとなく聞いてて。
Understand?
ほら、そこに大名小学校。
There's a place called
後に
FGN
っていうとこ
at the former site of Daimyo Elementary School, right?
会社を立ち上げるようなこと、一生懸命応援してて。
Fukuoka City is trying very hard to support startups or new companies. And what you just said is that even if you work at a normal company, even if you're very busy at work, your hourly wage doesn't change. And even if you work hard, it won't make any difference. However, for a new startup company, you're not only paid a salary, but you're also given stock in the company from the beginning, which is called stock option. If the company's growth is equally beneficial to you, you'll be able to work harder even when you're busy, and you'll feel that you can make the company more energetic. You would be able to work harder even when the company is busy. You would be able to come up with more ideas for the company. If that's the case, then a startup company can do that, right?
ありがとうございます。
市長あれですよね。
はいはい。
Mr. Mayor, I heard that Fukuoka is #1 in Japan for nurturing startups.
1位になったって聞いたんですけど。
そうそう、まあ
Yes, we have the highest rate of startups in terms of the number of new companies established.
はい。
We're supporting this kind of project because we cannot allow Japan to become a developing country, and we want to make Japan a country that can provide more and more interesting services.
にしたいしっていうので、そういうのを応援してるんですよね。
でもついに
And now there are quite a few startups around Prime Minister Kishida, and it's growing quite a
そうです
bit.
ね。岸田さん
I think that the fact that Mr. Kishida calls it a startup means that people all over Japan know what a startup is, and it's becoming more common.
経済っていうのをより
So, in order to stimulate the economy, it used to be very important for startups to have their employees hold shares in the company and do their best on their own.
っていうのが今までだ
But with the introduction of the DAO,
とくると
not only employees, but also fans and customers can hold the shares in the form of tokens. And if this is successful, the customers and fans who support the project will also benefit. We are trying to expand it to that level.
関わるみんなが
So it's a win-win for everyone involved.
スタートアップがね
Yes, so this is a new system in which startups can expand the win-win situation by having their employees and other workers hold shares, and then have customers and fans hold tokens, so that when they succeed, everyone will share in the win-win situation.
ウィンに分かち合おうみたいなそういう新しい仕組みって感じですね。
確かに。だってさ、ファンって、
Fans are not only those who buy tickets and pay to go to the theater to see the show,
対価を払
but also those who support the show in various ways,
そのいろんな
such as
本当ですよ。
protecting Aki when bad things are written about her on the internet, and doing their best to make the show more exciting for everyone. For example, if someone writes something bad about Aki on the internet, they will protect her in ways that cannot be seen by others and will do their best to make her happy. Yes, that's right. So the general election should be very exciting. It would be like going public. If they are among the top 10, the tokens will be a big deal. So I think that is a big part of the reason why I will be more actively involved in the project. I see. As technology continues to change, I was wondering if you could tell us about your view of the world. I thought this kind of thing could be used in various places, not only for entertainment, but also for regional development. In Mishima City, a project to enliven the local community was to create a local whiskey, not a local beer, with the help of all the local residents. The water in Mishima in particular is delicious and clean. So the project is to make local whiskey and make it a local specialty. Whiskey is an interesting product, and it takes 3 years to make. So a project was started in which everyone would work together to create a distillery, and then come up with ideas to develop a world-class brand of whiskey that would replace Yamazaki. If a famous brand is eventually created, it will be beneficial to everyone. If you have ever wanted to support your hometown of Fukuoka, for example, or an idol group you like, you would have just supported them with a volunteer spirit. But if you add tokens, you make it a win-win situation for the successful group. If this happens, the company will be able to become more successful and win-win for the participants. If this happens, I believe that various innovations will occur in various areas that have not been possible with conventional joint stock companies. Right now, it's at the idea level, and we are discussing it in Fukuoka City. For example, there are volunteers who clean parks and streets, and there are people who work hard to plant flowers as part of the One Person, One Flower campaign. They are volunteers, so it would be odd to thank these people with money. But the city flourishes thanks to these people. Or, for example, the person who accepts the position of community association president, it is not right to pay him or her because he or she is a member of the community association, but the community is united thanks to such a person. Fukuoka City can issue tokens for things that are difficult to convert into monetary values, such as 3 tokens for serving as a community association officer, 1 token for cleaning up in the morning, 1 token for participating in health promotion events, and so on. If you accumulate tokens, for example, you can run in the Fukuoka Marathon with 3 tokens because there's a high turnout. Or you can use tokens to pay for events in the city where there's a good turnout. I think it would be possible to add value to things that have no monetary value by using tokens. With the existing joint stock company structure, the purpose of a joint stock company is to make a profit from sales. So a joint stock company is not suited for things that do not make money and do not generate profit. However, there are many important things in the world that cannot be replaced by money, such as supporting one's favorite fans or idols, promoting one's favorite hometown, volunteering for one's favorite hobbies, and so on. We can make such contributions in the form of tokens, and then everyone can get involved. If more and more people agree, the price of the tokens will rise and everyone will be happy. I think it will create a lot of things that could not be done in a capitalist corporation. I see. What did you think of today's talk about virtual NFT tokens and many other things? I knew nothing, so I'm just thankful for this type of opportunity. What's the most memorable thing for you today? The metaverse. I'm interested in VR, so I think it would be nice to do something with the fans. What, for example? I would like to be involved more closely with everyone, so I would like people to be able to feel the live performances and other events. So I hope that the live performances and other events will evolve. Metaverse allows you to be something you are not, something you want to be. Therefore, it would not be interesting if a virtual version of Mayor Takashima appeared in the virtual world that resembles the actual mayor. If a real-looking avatar appears, I would think, why didn't you actually come to an event? But if it's an avatar, well, then you might say, oh, well, that's a good idea. Everyone might applaud even more. How about going with that? I am not who I am who I want to be. I want to be a princess. But it would be interesting to be something else. For example, what? Maybe like seeing things from an ant's perspective because they're so small. I wonder how they see humans. I think it would be scary, human feet coming down with a bang. So I'm a little curious. It might make you an even nicer person. Mayor Takashima, you're having an exciting time, but it's time to wrap things up. How many more minutes do we have? About 2 minutes. Then Aki can talk for 1.5 minutes and we'll talk for 15 seconds each. What are your thoughts on today? Well, some things I had never heard of before, but for our generation, it's something we will be dealing with for a very long time. So I was listening to the lecture, hoping that I could learn some aspects of it and that it would be an opportunity to do something about it with everyone. Thanks to both of you, I was able to slowly understand these things that are said to be difficult to comprehend. Finally, Mr. Kunimitsu, I would like to end with a message from you to everyone. The most important thing about the metaverse is that you can become the person you want to be, or enter the world of Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy, the world you have been longing for. I think that Web3 is also beneficial to the fans who want to support the project, and this new form of support is spreading. Especially in Fukuoka, we are trying to support startups and other new businesses, and various advanced companies are being established in the area. I would like to make Fukuoka a cutting-edge place for the Metaverse and Web3. And as a start to that, Mayor Takashima, a beautiful avatar, I will create something for you myself. I understand I've learned a lot with all of you today. Mr. Kunimitsu, thank you very much for coming. Thank you, Hana and Aki. Once again, Mr. Kunimitsu, Ms. Toyonaga, and Ms. Matsuoka of HKT48, and Mayor Takashima, thank you very much for your valuable talk. Please give them a big round of applause.